Hi all out there. Now, I know that normally my videos are about me singing, but today this one is about something else. Now, I was thinking about this last night when I was trying to get to sleep, and due to this I had a bit of a rough night. Didn't get a lot of sleep. Actually cried myself to sleep, which, you know, doesn't happen very often, but more often than I'd like. So here's the deal. Last year I ran into a few bad guys. Basically the first guy, I won't use names here purely because I respect my friends, and they still want to be friends with him. Not that I understand it, but I'm not going to judge him. I'm just going to be an adult about this and let them do what they want. It's their choice, not mine. But yeah, I met this guy randomly one night at a karaoke bar that I go to, rock bar as well, and we had our first date, and you know, I was attracted to him, and it was all great fun, and it was never meant to be serious. I think we both agreed on that. And whilst I did like him, it wasn't ever going to be long term. So I dated him for a few months, and then the day he had his Christmas / New Year's party, whatever the hell it was, I had decided that I was going to break up with him. Because I'd seen some things about him that I didn't like. The fact that he was always getting drunk or trying to take pictures of people when they had fallen flat on their face whilst they were drunk. Some changes in his behaviour, again whilst he was drunk. Basically, the guy had a problem with drink. It changed his behaviour, and I didn't particularly like the person that he was when he was drunk, so yeah, decided to break up with him and you know, maybe have a chat with him about seeing someone about this problem. Anyway, I got, you know, dressed up nice, but nothing that I thought would lead him on, because I only like leading on people on purpose who I'm gonna actually do something with, and I like doing it in a good way and never in a bad way. I don't like teasing people if I'm not gonna do anything with them. So basically I dressed up nice, nothing revealing, and I went to see him for his party, and I was planning on having a good time. I wasn't planning on drinking because it was the day before New Year's Eve, and I was saving myself. So I spent part of the day with him, and the plan was that I was going to break up with him towards the end of the party, towards when I was feeling like I wanted to go home, so that I wouldn't ruin his day. Anyway, we met everybody at his place, and then we ended up going to a pub, and at one point he asked me to go outside with him, which I did, and when we were outside, he started hesitating, and he turned around to me and asked me, what does this relationship mean to you? It's always been about having fun for me, and I realised that he was trying to break up with me, so I made it a bit easier for him and just said we agreed to end it and still be friends afterwards. Anyway, the night progressed and he got more and more drunk, and I realised that I'd forgotten to take my medication for the day, so I went home, took my medication and went back to the party. And this was because there were some friends there that I hadn't seen in a while, and you know, despite the fact that we'd broken up, it wasn't awkward at all, and I just wanted to chat with everybody else. So I arrived back at the pub to find that he was very drunk by this point, and he'd brought his camera out with him and he'd just left it lying around. This was a proper camera, a professional camera, so I picked it up, put it to one side where everybody else was sitting, and made sure it got looked after for the rest of the night, because, you know, I'm a good friend. Or, well, I try to be anyway. So, anyway, the party continued after the pub called time. We went to someone else's flat where he continued to drink, effectively finished off a whole bottle of vodka by himself. This was after he'd been to the pub and been drinking at his place, was already very drunk. I tried to intervene as much as I could, as well as one of his other ex-girlfriends who was there, was friends with him, in trying to intervene. And here he basically started being nasty towards me and the other girl, calling us names, telling the other girl that she was fat despite the fact that she wasn't, and yeah, just generally being a bit of an arsehole. And eventually the person who owned the flat came over to me and asked me to get him to leave. I don't know why she asked me in particular. I don't know if it was because she still thought we were going out or what, but you know, I was sober and I was getting annoyed with him, and I was worried about him as well because he had an awful lot to drink, and effectively collected up all of our belongings together, and had his housemate there, which was good because he helped me out with him, and we got all of our stuff together, managed to get him to put on his shoes by basically holding his legs whilst the other person put the shoes on him, which is never a good sign. I asked him to follow me twice, and on the third time that I asked him to leave, I said, either you leave willingly or I will pick you up and carry you out of here. And his response to that was, I'd like to see you try. So I bent down, I picked him up and I carried him to the door, at which point he threatened to hit me if I didn't put him down, which I understand because he was a little freaked out by heights, and there was a balcony that he didn't like just outside the door of this person's flat, but it was that or, you know, leave him there for other people to deal with who didn't have as much patience for him. So when he threatened to hit me, I said, "You hit me, I will hit you right back, go ahead." He didn't hit me. I got him out the door. I got him downstairs. We went to the nearest cash point. I paid for a taxi back to his place for me, him and his housemate. His housemate opened the door whilst I steered my ex to his front door. We all went inside. His housemate went to bed. My ex went to the bathroom, and when he came out, he decided to start coming on to me. At which point I told him no. I still had my coat and my shoes on. I was fully dressed. There was no way I was in the mood for anything from him, because I'd been taking shit from him all night. And he was so drunk he did not know what he was doing. Whilst he was trying to take my coat off, he actually managed to rip one of the buttons off, which, you know, annoyed me a bit, because it was a coat that I'd just bought, and I liked it quite a bit, and yeah, as I said, my patience was running thin. I eventually managed to get him in his bedroom, where he decided to start stripping off in what he probably thought was a sexy manner, but with him being so drunk, just looked quite ridiculous, actually. And basically I let him strip himself off because it was easier than me doing it, less awkward than me doing it, and it meant that, you know, it was him making all the moves and not me. And every time he tried to kiss me or hug me or go anywhere near me, put my hand on his chest, pushed him away gently, because, well, there really wasn't need for much force with him being so drunk. He just reeled back from it. And told him no several times, told him I wasn't in the